What's going on, you guys? Back with another prediction video. Good fight coming up this weekend under the Errol Spence Chris Algieri card. You got Steve Cunningham fighting Krzysztof Glowacki for the WBO Cruiserweight title at the Barclays in New York. I'm not going to the fight. I know a couple of you, my subscribers, asked me if I was going to the fight this weekend. I'm not going to be able to make it this weekend. I got to go to this comedy show with my dad or whatever. But anyway, I'm not going to the fight, but this should be a great fight this Saturday night. All right. Um, it should be a great fight. It should be an action-packed fight. Okay, because Glowacki, I've actually never seen him fight before he fought Huck last year. All right, in the fight that he won. Um, it was an amazing fight. You know, that was probably fight of the year. A lot of people say that was fight of the year. Very action packed, or at least the best fight that was on the PBC last year. Um, how do I think the fight is gonna go? It's really tough to call. Steve Cunningham is getting older. First of all, Steve Cunningham is coming back to cruiserweight. He was fighting at cruiser for a long time before going up to heavyweight. He's been fighting at heavyweight for a little while, but he was always like right over, the cruiserweight limit, okay? He's usually fighting at 205, 203, 208, somewhere around that, like barely over 200 pounds, okay? And he's coming back down to fight at cruiserweight, which I think he should. I think Cunningham should have always stayed at cruiserweight because even though he's tall, he's 6'3", he was always a pretty small heavyweight. The power just didn't have that same impact up at heavyweight. Okay, and he's not the smallest heavyweight, but as far as weight is concerned, if you could make cruiserweight, I think he should stay at cruiserweight. I mean, he's been having a rough career as far as close fights. He's been in the ring with a lot of guys from cruiser and heavyweight. People think that he won the Adamic fights, the Glasgow fight recently. He had a draw with Tara recently, and Tara popped on PEDs. So, he's had a rough career. But this fight here, I think he has a good shot at winning this fight. All right, clearly, I mean, actually getting the decision. Glowacki, younger guy, fresher guy, 10 years younger than Cunningham, okay? The thing is, Cunningham is not really fighting old yet. He doesn't really seem old, okay? He does gas out at the end of some of his fights. But from the fight that I saw with Huck, it looked like Glowacki slowed down dramatically from the opening rounds, okay? I actually thought Huck was going to win that fight. I thought Huck was winning, especially after the knockdown midway through that fight. And Glowacki found a way to pull it off late and get the stoppage late. But Huck looked like he was drained, totally gassed out. It's kind of similar to the Steve Cunningham fight that he had years ago when Steve Cunningham stopped him late. All right, so the way I think the fight needs to go, I think Cunningham needs to keep Glowacki on the end of his jab, keep him at the end of his punches. All right, fight tall. I mean, Cunningham is really easy to bait him into a war, though. I think you saw that in the Amir Mansour fight. And you've seen it in other fights. Tyson Fury kind of turned it into a slugfest. He needs to beat a boxer here. He needs to use his range and his height and fight tall in this fight, okay? Glowacki is about 3 inches shorter than him. Southpaw, Cunningham has fought a few southpaws lately. The Tarver fight, I don't think Glowacki is not sneaky like Tarver. Not even sure if he has the same kind of power, the sneaky power that Tarver has. But Glowacki is more of a worker. Pretty quick. He got quick hands. He's pretty sharp. All right, his left hand is pretty sharp. Well-rounded fighter. He's pretty good. All right, he's pretty quick. I think what Glowacki needs to do is make it more of a brawl, all right? Try to be more aggressive. Obviously, try to get closer. He's a type of guy that doesn't really fight on the inside. At least against Hulk, he didn't really fight on the inside too much. Um, he wanted to keep the distance and try to keep Huck on the end of his jab. I think that's not going to really work against Cunningham because Cunningham is going to be trying to do the same thing, especially because he has the height advantages. I don't know if he has much of a reach advantage over Glowacki, but I know Huck. In the fight against Huck, he was more trying to stay on the outside and trying to shoot that straight left hand right down the pipe against Huck. All right. So anyway, I think Glowacki's best chance is to come out and start out aggressive. Okay. Just add the pressure and try to get into a brawl and go into a war. I think he has a better shot of going to war with Cunningham than try to outbox him from the outside. Cunningham can definitely cruise for 12 rounds, all right, on the outside and is keeping his distance and keeping Glowacki on the end of his jab. That's what he's definitely going to try to do. He's been doing it for many, many fights, and I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to do the same thing in this fight. Glowacki got to be the pressure fighter. He is the younger fighter. He needs to bring the pressure early, okay? Because if he stays on the outside early and he's getting tagged up by Cunningham, he's going to have too much damage later in the later rounds, and Cunningham has a possibility of stopping him. Anyone could get stopped in this fight. Glowacki got hurt in the Huck fight. Cunningham's been hurt and down plenty of fights, okay? So I think anyone can win, by either by knockout or decision. I just think being that Glowacki is the younger fighter between the two of them, he needs to bring the aggression, the pressure, and not wait until the later rounds to try to get Cunningham out of there. Because Cunningham, even though he's much older, he can go 12 rounds easily and fight at a high level even at the end of the fight, okay? So I think Glowacki needs to start out fast. I think Cunningham needs to keep Glowacki on the end of his jab. I think the fight can really go either way, but I'm gonna go with Cunningham to win this fight. I think his height advantage and his experience is just gonna be too much, and I think he's gonna win a decision against Glowacki. But I do think the fight can go either way, and I do think either one of these guys could get stopped. All right, but that's my pick. I'm going with Cunningham by decision. I could be wrong here. I can even say that this is a 50-50 fight. I think this fight is definitely 50-50 based on, performance Glowacki had against Huck. I think this is a 50-50 fight, all right? And being that he's the younger guy, even though Cunningham is the more experienced fighter, Glowacki has a shot, but I'm picking Cunningham to win this one by decision. So tune in. This is going to be on the undercard of the Spence Algieri fight this weekend on the PBC. I don't know if it's Spike. I don't know which network, but it should be on television or whatever. And I think it's gonna be a war. I honestly believe that this is gonna be a good fight, kind of like Marco Huck fight, kind of like Cunningham's fight against Mansour. I think it's gonna be some points where these guys are just gonna brawl it out or whatever, and that would work in favor for Glowacki because you want to get the older man tired where you can shine in the later rounds or whatever, all right? So anyway, make sure you guys hit subscribe and tune into the next video. Peace.